Oh my gosh, it's been 17 billion years. Now, it's not actually been that long, but it's been over a month already since I was last here. Let me get my costume back. There I was thinking to myself, oh, I'll start a slumber island in my semester break, or I'll finish it easily during my semester break. Yeah, sure. But it's actually not that far from being complete. So I thought today I finally wanted to work some more on it. And oh, the last time that I was here, it was cherry blossom season. And now it's summer. And oh, I'm actually loving the bright green. And then that is what we built last time, a really long time ago. Oh, I completely forgot this cool bridge. Yeah, that was really smart. It's looking really cool with the green trees as well. Okay, nice. And then over here, I built this bathhouse exterior, but I never actually built the interior, so I thought that is what we could do today. So I believe when you go inside of your house, on Slumber Islands, there's just nothing inside, right? Yeah, it's just completely empty. It's like a clean slate for us. So again, what I want this to be is a bathhouse. I think I'm just going to time-lapse it and I can explain all of the lore and stuff then. But basically, it's going to be obviously a sort of Japanese traditional inspired bathhouse. And I think the best inspiration is probably, I mean, you're probably already thinking of the bathhouse from Spirited Away. I think I kind of want it to look like that. And so my idea is that in this first room, we could just kind of like build a general bathhouse interior. And then over here in the right room, I think I basically just want to continue that. Maybe this could be like a more private bath sort of room over here on the left. This, I think, could kind of be a cool sort of outdoor area. So again, just another bath, but maybe with like a cool outdoor background. We'll see about that. Back here, through the middle, I'm thinking this could be the bathhouse manager's office. So my office, I guess? Am I the bathhouse owner? I'm not really sure. Downstairs, I think it's pretty obvious as well what we have to do. This is going to be the basement with all of the machinery and like all of the, basically just a bunch of machinery. So maybe there could be a lot of furnaces down here that heat everything, and maybe this is even where they could generate their power? Though I'm not sure how I would want to design that. We'll see what I do down here. And then upstairs, this I'm thinking could be like the dorms. This is where all of my servants who work in the bathhouse will sleep. And so yeah, that's the ideas. I shall now send you off to future Lua to narrate the time-lapse. And I'll come back later for the final tour, so see you then. Bye! Hi, this is Lua from the future narrating the time-lapse. And I wanted to quickly explain also, because I have quite an interesting way I like to decorate interiors in this game. It's kind of dumb, to be honest, because, you know, in Animal Crossing, whenever you decorate on the outside, you always have, like, the locked camera, right? You always have that top-down perspective, and you can't rotate the camera or whatever. But on the inside of houses, you can. And so I believe a lot of people, when they decorate interiors in the game, they're always like, oh my gosh, this is my chance to finally decorate something that is meant to be viewed from all angles. But that's the thing, I like to specifically not do that. So instead of rotating the camera, I decorate everything in a way that is meant to be viewed from just the front. So just the first camera angle that you get when you first enter a room. I've called it like dollhouse decorating before because it's kind of like that. So if you see me not rotating the camera a lot during this, and also like not in the final tour in the end, that is why. I just kind of prefer to do it this way. I think it's really cool how you can like layer things by placing them behind each other and stuff. This does also mean that you'll see me put in special care for like the back wall and add a lot of things to that wall, and then only add a few things most often to like the right and the left wall, and then the back wall or the front wall, whatever. The wall that you don't see when you first come into the room, I don't pay attention to that one at all, so there is nothing on those. So yeah, it's kind of weird, but again, I just prefer it this way. I really like decorating rooms this way. I think they turn out looking really cool that way. And so, yeah, I was also going to explain the lore a little bit because, of course, if you know me, I could not go without building a whole island, without also coming up with an extensive story as to what this place is and stuff. I've come up with all of this in the other episodes, so if you've seen those, you'll already know, but also it's been a while. My whole idea was that basically we're sort of in between the realm of the living and the realm of the dead. Kind of like the spirit world, but not quite. And I've borrowed this idea from Greek mythology that basically getting sent to like the afterlife costs you money or other things, treasures or whatever. And so if you're buried with treasure or with money or whatever, you can use that to pay and you're all good. But obviously that's become pretty uncommon. So if that's not the case, you get sent to the space that's in between, that's here. And they kind of make like the souls work in order to pay off their fee. And so one of the places you can end up is this island, and then on here you'll have to work in the bathhouse. So yeah, that's everything that I've thought of up until now. And now there's kind of come up a new question, I feel like, which is, well, if like the souls who need to pay off their fee to get sent to the afterlife are the people who, or not people, I guess ghosts, whatever, are the ones that work here, who owns this place and who are the guests? And my answer to that for now is just kind of, well, spirits. Other mythological creatures that we're just making up right now. I was thinking they could be spirits who like aren't people that died but are just kind of spirits permanently and who can perhaps travel through all of the realms just freely. And then I'm thinking my player character could also be one of those spirits. But I've decided that I don't want to be the boss of the bathhouse myself. Because you'll see that when we decorate the office, I like placed one of the little tanuki statues, and I've been thinking that could be the boss. And maybe my character could kind of be like an assistant to them, I was thinking. And then I guess the next question would be, why would these spirits be interested in running a bathhouse and making money? And to that, as the writer, I would say, well, the spirit's business is none of your business, okay? But yeah, so that's the story of this place. This whole build process actually took a lot shorter than I thought it was going to. I think I have like 3 hours of footage that I sped up, which really surprised me. Again, I was really busy the past couple of weeks, so that's part of the reason why I didn't continue building on here for so long. But then also, I have to admit, I was also kind of putting it off as well. I was just thinking that was going to take so long and I was going to be so indecisive. So I didn't want to get started, but then I actually did get started, and again, it took a lot shorter than I thought it was gonna. And I think one reason might be that I actually didn't have that many options, which sounds kind of dumb. You know, when you have the DLC and build all of the vacation homes on there, you actually unlock your own catalog specific to the DLC, and you'll have a lot more things a lot quicker in there. And so I'm kind of used to building with that, but then on your own island and on Slumber Islands, you just get the catalog from like your own main island, aka everything that you've ever picked up. Plus, luckily they let you have some additional colors, even if you haven't picked up those yet. And so I do have a lot of things in there in that catalog, but certainly not everything. I have collected a lot of things over the years, but honestly not that many. I've always sort of had a vision for my main island what I wanted to build on there, and so I think whenever I was at the store and stuff, I would usually only pick things that I would actually need. So there are certain furniture categories where I'm really lacking with my catalog. I remember immediately noticing that and thinking to myself, oh no, is this gonna cause some problems because I'll just be missing certain things? And I really thought it was gonna, but it really didn't in the end. And what I'm getting at is I think that actually helped me be faster because less options meant I had to think about what to use less. It was just kind of like, oh, I need a desk for right here. And then I look at my catalog and I really only have one that could go in here. So yeah, I think actually having less options made it a lot quicker. By the way, coming back to the actual build process here, I just finished decorating the main room and I think it turned out so cool. And now I'm on to decorating the boss's office. And in here, I decided to go for like a cozy, darker vibe that's also a bit scary. I really like how this one turned out as well. But building this had me think of a thing again. There is like this teeny tiny mini-sized beef that I have with one particular thing in New Horizons. This game in like the Animal Crossing series, really revolutionized decorating, obviously. I mean, just the fact that we can place furniture outside is kind of insane. It seems so normal now, but I still remember when the first trailers for this game came out and I was like, we can place furniture outside! I always wanted to do that. It's kind of crazy to think that that was special at some point. And obviously the items are pretty cool, and if you have the DLC, it gets even cooler with all of the new features like the partition walls and the sound effects and the special or visual effects. But there is one thing that, in my opinion, they handled better in New Leaf, specifically inside of the houses, because again, there was no outside decorating, so obviously this feature didn't have anything to do with outside decorating. But in the interiors, I think colored lighting was done better. And I don't know if I'm mostly talking from nostalgia here and it wasn't actually that great, but I remember it being really cool. New Horizons does have colored lighting as well. Most of the objects just kind of have normal light. It kind of feels dumb to call it that, but you know, you like white light or off-white or yellowish, that sort of shade. And then with some objects, they go kind of crazy. There are certain things that have a green glow or a red glow. And if you have the DLC, it does also add colored lighting. So it's not like they deleted this feature outright, but I don't really like how it's handled. Mostly, I don't really love how the colored lighting on the interiors look, like the one from the DLC. I don't know, I just feel like it looks a bit ridiculous, like stage lighting perhaps? What I'm going for, like a subtle soft glow or whatever? I don't know, it doesn't work that great in my opinion. I remember my house in New Leaf was actually quite a similar vibe to that room. It was also kind of cozy, but I gave it a little bit of creepy vibes as well, I think. And what I did is I went to Reese and Cyrus's shops and I had them customize a bunch of lanterns, and I think I even used like one of the custom designs for that. I think that was a thing where I put a red design on it and then the lanterns actually emitted a red glow. And that's such a cool feature. I'm so sad that that's not a thing anymore in New Horizons, because imagine the possibilities. And so that was really useful to kind of create like a subtle red glow in my house. Yeah, and now the color of lamps seems to be either set, or if you want to use an object that already glows that specific color, or the color lighting from the DLC is like really bright and kind of ridiculous, like I just said. I wonder if I'm like the only person who has beef with this. I've never even heard of anyone talk about this, so it's not that serious, but it would be really cool. Anyway, moving on from that, I'm now decorating the room on the left, and this was the sort of outside space garden kind of thing. And this room took a lot of finagling with to get it just right. So you'll see me shuffle through quite a lot of objects before I finally move along. There was just a lot of big items I wanted to place in here, and I always forget how tiny these rooms are. I swear, I always think that they're like a tile wider in all directions or something, because I'm just so surprised over and over again. Actually, that reminds me, okay, I just thought of another teeny tiny mini-sized beef with New Horizons versus New Leaf. Because in New Leaf, you could upgrade all of your rooms to be really, really big, couldn't you? I'm not sure if they got to be quite as big as that first room, but you could make them quite big, right? Why not in New Horizons? Seriously, I get to completely change all of the cliffs on my island, but I don't get to have a room on the left that's a little bigger than this. Maybe the room size was to make up for the lack of outside decorating. Nintendo, take notes. Take notes for the next one. On color lighting, I want bigger rooms. And while you're at it, please let me change the exterior look of my town hall / what is it called? Resident services? Because that's another thing that they had in New Leaf, but no New Horizons. Oh my gosh, oh no. They're all pouring out of my brain now. There are so many little things. They didn't even have that many options, but I remember having like a futuristic town hall in my town. And that's just so cool, you know, in case you're going for a really different vibe and the original look of the town hall / resident services just doesn't fit that well. I'm not even that mad about the fact that you can't move it. I'm more mad about the fact that you can't change the look of it. That's probably the hottest take here. Because it feels like everyone wants to move it, but for me, I think it's kind of cool. Although, saying that, actually, I did get very lucky with my resident services. It kind of lined up perfectly with what I wanted to do on my island with like where the airport is and everything. Yeah, I mean, if you caught me in like in an alternate universe where everything was the exact same except in Animal Crossing, my resident services was one tile to the right. Yeah, I'd probably feel very differently about this. Maybe I should just shut up. Okay, no, obviously I'm kidding. But yeah, on a completely unrelated note to that, I wanted to talk about that timeline here. Is it noticeable? Have I concealed it well? This whole video is kind of like time-wise, a whole Frankenstein project, because some of this was recorded weeks and weeks ago, so at the start of my semester, and some of it was recorded kind of during my semester, and now I'm on my summer break. I'm finally free again. Finally have time to finish this video. So yeah, if in the beginning, I doubt anyone caught it, but if you were that one person who saw the beginning was like, the colors of the trees aren't quite right for August, are they? Yeah, they're not. Also, maybe it's time to stop playing this game and obsessing over it, cause, oh, jeez. But yeah, again, this semester has been really, really busy. It kind of feels like I'm now crawling out of a rabbit hole back to the mortal realm. It really didn't feel that long to me as well. It completely wrecked my sense of time. So, what did I miss while I was gone? Do we still think about Paralives? Because I'm not entirely sure about that either. I actually bought the game a couple days after it came out, and I even recorded a whole video where I played it for the first time, and I still have not finished that. I had it sitting here, well, the raw footage, I had that sitting here for like the past couple of weeks. I've never had the time to finish that video, but now I do, so perhaps that is coming sometime soon, we'll see. And obviously that also means that I have time to finish this island finally, which again, originally I wanted to finish during my spring break. I guess now I'm gonna finish it during my summer break. It's fine. This is fine. Perhaps we only need one more episode as well, because after this interior, there's just a little bit of the outside left. I don't think I've touched all of the beaches just yet, and there's a couple of transitional areas that are kind of empty. And then we're done. And by the way, you just saw me finish the basement, and now I've moved up into the attic, which is the final room, because we finished all the others. And so again, this is going to be the servants' quarters. This is going to be where all of the workers sleep. Also, I think you can tell, very much inspired by the bathhouse from Spirited Away. But yeah, now that's my break. I've been having so many dangerous thoughts. Because there's so many things that I want to do, and I've been getting new ideas as well. I was like, what if I start a Minecraft world? Because I've seen LD Shadow Lady, most of you probably know her, but she started like a forever world on her channel, and I've been watching a couple of those videos, and I was like, oh my gosh, I also want to have a cool Minecraft forever world, kind of. But then I'm also still playing a lot of Infinity Nikki, and I also really wanted to try Stardew Valley for the first time, because actually I've never ever played that. I thought I should really give it a go. But then there's also like random other things, like speaking of my semester at uni, we had a game development course, and so I learned Unity, and I'm like, I want to do more things in Unity, I want to try out some more. And I think I've talked about this on like my art channel before, but I would love to one day make my own animated series. And I need to refine the script for that a lot still, so you see. I swear I have so many random hobbies. In German, we have this absolutely amazing insult that I love, which is basically just like hobbyless, like a hobbyless person. 11 out of 10 insult, but I'm just thinking I ought to be like the opposite of whatever that is. Kind of worried that all of these options are gonna lead to choice paralysis, but it's fine. As for me on here, I don't know, the next video is probably gonna be that paralyzed one. Maybe I'll play Minecraft, maybe I'll play Stardew Valley, maybe I'm gonna do something entirely different, we'll see. But yeah, here I am placing one final thing in the basement, and with that I shall send you off to Lure from the past for the final tour. And here we are, it's finally done, and it's time for the tour that I'm definitely recording for the first time and not for the second time because I forgot to turn on my mic. But wait, let me confirm. It is on now. You can hear me. Okay, so let's head inside. So this first room is pretty much just bathhouse. We've got the little podium thing over here where somebody can stand and greet our guests. And I've like sectioned off these two parts, which I think is a pretty cool idea. We got the baths back here with all of our guests in them, where I used the little trick to make it seem like the gyroids are inside of the baths. I just think that looks so fun. Kind of jealous of them. I wish our player characters could use items and like do things like go inside of the baths as well. There's a couple of things that aren't in the time lapse. Mainly, after I was done, I went around and I placed a bunch of like particle effects. This is also a feature that you can unlock by playing the DLC. And so I added some butterflies to the plants in the front here. And I've also made the baths in the back a bit steamier. They do come with a steam effect just by default, but if you add the steam effect on top, it makes it look a bit steamier, and that's what I did. I do also have music playing in almost every room, and I found it a bit difficult to choose the right song, but I hope I made some good choices. Well, let me also show you what this looks like in this view, because I think this way you can get a better look at the back wall back there, which in this room turned out extra cool in my opinion. I use these jail bars a lot to make some cool effects in the back. And so yeah, that's this first room, and then let's head on to the room on the right. This is basically just more of the same, kind of an extension of the first room. So I also used the same song. And once again, we got two baths here. And just some chairs to lie down. I once again made one of the baths steamier, and I placed the circular effects on like these two plants here. Honestly, not much of a reason, just to make it look cool. And this is what it looks like from this view. As you can hear, I used the same song, but it sounds a bit different because I used some different gyroids. Especially, probably my favorite one, which is that guy back here. The drumoid. That one always plays like a pretty sick beat. And so I had to use him in here as well. But yeah, that's this room. Moving on to the next one. Let's go to the one on the left. In here, we've got kind of like an outdoor area. And that's what this looks like. I think this room is such a vibe. And in here, I placed some of the butterfly effects again. And I discovered that this item, oops, I didn't mean to do that. That this item actually doesn't come with like a steam visual effect by default at all. So I added the custom one on top to make this kind of look steamy like that. And I actually don't have any music in here at all. The only sound effects that I hear are from those three gyroids in the back there. And once again, I used my favorite, the drumoid. And that guy's kind of carrying the song in here. But yeah, I think this turned out so cool once again with the jail bars as well. Yeah, so kind of a different vibe. I did want to place a stereo at first as well, to have it play a song in here as well, but I just couldn't make it fit very well. I didn't have much space with all of these big items that I wanted to use. And I think no music is cool as well, so that's what I did in here. And then moving on, if we head down the middle, we get to the boss. And here he is. It's kind of scary, especially with like the stone lion dogs to the left and to the right as well. Kind of like the guardians. And this, of course, the boss. I gave him this, I don't even know how to describe it, this visual effect. I think it's actually meant to be like a sci-fi effect, but I like to use it in here as well. I thought in this context it could maybe kind of seem like ghost powers or something, and so I thought that would fit in very well. Got the kind of like scary slow music in here, and let me show you the back wall as well. Placed some like planter boxes and some fabric up there as well. I think that looks pretty cool as a background. And so yeah, let's leave this guy to do his business and move on to the basement. And down here we got all of the machinery. Ta-da! This may be my favorite room, to be honest. I like how it's kind of scary. And so this is where they heat up all of the water and stuff. I also put no music at all. I think that adds to the scary vibe as well. The only thing that you can hear is all of the sound effects from the items, and I put the factory soundscapes as ambience in the back. So you can like hear some rumbling and some constructing going on, I suppose. And then, as you can see, I also used a lot of the electricity visual effects on some of these items, and I think that really helps to sell it as well. Yeah, that's gotta suck if you're a soul who has to work down here. But so yeah, that's this room. And let's move on to the last room already actually, which is of course the attic. And this is where all of the workers sleep. Ta-da! That's what this turned out to be. And so I created kind of like a fake balcony in the back here, and I'm a big fan of that. Up here we got these 4 futons for the workers to sleep on. And I added the circular effects again to the back ones. I thought that could kind of look like dust maybe. And I've also got this music box that's playing music. And did you know this, by the way? You can select any song on here, on like all of the music box items. Just like any stereo, but then if you do, it kind of plays like a music box remix of the song. And so that's what I did to kind of give this place a calm vibe, maybe also a sad vibe, because I feel like a lot of the souls are probably not that happy to be working here. Oh, and then I also added like the wave soundscapes, because this is kind of like an outlook onto the sea. And it makes a lot of sense because this house is actually right next to the back cliff, so you would see the sea from here probably. And so, yeah, that's this room, and that was actually it already. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Let me do my little twisty dance again. Midori Island is almost done with that. We got very little that's still left. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!